Have you ever walked into a room and felt like you didn't belong? Like you had to shrink yourself just to fit in? I used to do that every single day until one moment changed everything. This is the story of how I went from invisible to unstoppable. Hi, I'm your name, and I used to be the person who second guessed every word before I said it. If confidence were a language, I didn't speak it. Not because I didn't have something to say, but because I didn't believe it mattered. Today, I stand in rooms I once feared, not because I got louder, but because I got clearer about who I am and who I'm not. This is a story about transformation, not overnight, not perfect, but real. Let me take you back. Middle school, high school, even in early adulthood. Any room I walked into, I scanned for who I needed to be accepted. I was the master of blending in. I laughed when I didn't think things were funny. I apologized too much. Sorry for talking, sorry for existing, sorry for taking up space. I wasn't shy, not really. I was just scared. Scared of rejection, scared of looking stupid, scared that if people really saw me, they wouldn't like what they saw. Raise your hand if that hits a little too close to home. Yeah, I thought so. There wasn't a lightning bolt moment. No grand speech or Instagrammable breakthrough. The shift started small, like all real change does. It began the day someone asked me, "Why do you always make yourself smaller?" I laughed it off like always, but that question haunted me. Why did I? I didn't have an answer, but I couldn't ignore the question. That week, I challenged myself to do one thing differently. Just one. I decided not to apologize unless I actually did something wrong. Let me tell you, that was hard. I realized how often I used sorry as a shield, as a way to soften my presence. But the more I stopped shrinking, the more I started seeing myself. And not just seeing, but liking. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you let yourself take up space? Not physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. When did you last walk into a room and let yourself belong without trying to earn it? From that one small change came another. I started speaking up in meetings, sharing my ideas even if my voice shook. Not all of them landed, but some did, and that built momentum. I practiced saying what I meant without the 10 disclaimers. I learned that no is a complete sentence. I started complimenting others from a genuine place instead of using it as currency to be liked. And slowly I started liking myself. I stopped chasing confidence like a finish line and started seeing it as a practice. Confidence isn't loud. It's not ego. It's knowing that you belong, even when you're still growing. Look, I didn't wake up one day magically unafraid. I still have days when I want to disappear, where old habits whisper, "Don't speak up, play it safe." But now I recognize the voice, and I don't let it drive. Growth doesn't mean the fear goes away. It means you stop letting it make your decisions. And maybe your story isn't about confidence. Maybe it's about healing, or speaking truth, or walking away from something toxic. But the principle is the same. You can rewrite your story, one choice at a time. Think back to a time when you thought you couldn't do something, and then you did it. Remember how powerful that felt. That's what transformation is. Not becoming someone new, but returning to who you were before the world told you to shrink. So here's what I know now. You don't have to be fearless to move forward. You just have to be tired of standing still. Every person you admire, every speaker, artist, leader, they started somewhere. And most of them started to be afraid. The difference? They moved anyway. They chose to grow in the direction of who they were becoming, and so can you. So today I want to challenge you. Do one thing that scares you just a little. Speak the truth, say no, show up fully, leap. You don't need a crowd. You don't need perfection. You just need the courage to begin. Start with the smallest act of defiance against the voice that says you're not enough, because you are. And deep down, you've known that all along. I used to shrink myself in every room. Now I speak like I belong, because I do, and so do you. Confidence isn't loud, it's earned, one brave choice at a time. Start today, start now. For more transformation, inspiring videos, kindly like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.